we're going to try something very, very simple here. I have a regular deck of cards. They are shuffled, 52 card deck, and you can see that they're all different. There's nothing unusual about the deck. I want to have you select a card. You can select any card that you want to make it completely fair. I'll have you reach out and you can just touch any card. Say we touch that one right there, and it is the Jack of Hearts. Now, very simply, I'm just going to place the Jack of Hearts right back into the deck, right where we had it, just like so. We're not going to do any shuffles. We're not going to do any cuts. We're not going to mix the pack in any way. I want to locate your card, but we're going to do it in kind of a not so ordinary way. I'm going to take the deck. We'll fan it out here, spread it out. I'm going to take these two jokers that I have. I'm going to place one right here at the top, and I'm going to place the other one way down here at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to close up the pack very, very fairly, very cleanly. We're going to do one thing, and one thing only. We're going to do one straight riffle shuffle. So we'll take one half of the pack to one side, one half to the other. We'll riffle them together just like that, and we'll just push these together very fairly. And in this action, in this motion, this one thing that we've done, it has mixed up the jokers, and it's mixed them up in such a way that they have zeroed in on one single card right in the middle of the deck. You see that there? If we take a look, we'll see that the one card between the two jokers is in fact the Jack of Hearts, the card that you selected. This is my explanation for the sandwich effect that you just saw. This is actually based on an elementary effect that I remember learning a long, long time ago when I was a kid. And I saw it brought up again, a very similar rendition of it, of what we've done here, by Felix Bowden on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. And his version of the trick was very, very good. It was very visual, very straightforward, very magical moments in it. And I don't want to kind of mess around with his methodology and his format for the trick. So I'm presenting my own kind of take on it. His effect, I think it's fairly obvious if you are kind of in the know, that his effect was based on two principles. One was a shift or a pass. That's where the deck has to be transposed one half for the other. And then that was followed up by a cull, a spread cull, that was going to narrow down the cards in between the two jokers. So that's kind of his take on it. We're going to use those same principles, but we're going to use them for different reasons, and we're going to put a lot of cover on the shift. So this is for people who really are nervous about performing some sort of a pass right in front of the spectators where they have to transpose the two halves, and they feel like they can't get away with that, or they can't give the proper misdirection to do some kind of a pass. So instead we're going to cover it up with a shuffle. So here's how my rendition works. It is a regular deck of cards. You can show that or not, or you can have them shuffle it, or it can be a borrowed deck. It doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is we're going to do a spread call at the top of the effect. We're not going to do it the way Felix does it. We're going to do it at the beginning as a means of controlling the spectator's selection to the bottom. So the way I do it is that I call out an indifferent card very early, because we want to make the call later on very simple and easy. It's easier to call the second card when you've already called a first one, and I'll show you why that is in a moment. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to call out an indifferent card to the bottom of the deck. Now, one way that you can do that, if you're not comfortable doing this, bringing out the one card to start, one quick way to do it is to just take the top card, separate it out from the deck, and then start fanning out or spreading out the cards on top of that. And you've essentially accomplished the same thing. You just culled the top card underneath everything else. So if you're more comfortable with that, you can do that. And because this move is separated in time and space from the actual selection and then the closing up of the deck, it makes it very, very easy for the spectators not to notice that you took one card off and did that. So again, we start by culling out an indifferent card. Once you have your indifferent card called out, you can spread through the deck. And then the spectator can touch their selection. You can either have them touch it or take it. It really doesn't matter. If you want to do this without looking at it, they can look at the card and then place it back in the deck. Or you can, as I did in my example, turn it over and everybody can see it. It really won't matter for the effect. So you know it's the 8 of clubs there. What we're going to do is when we slide it back into the pack, I'm going to cull it on top of my indifferent card. Now this indifferent card makes it very easy. All I have to do is get it underneath my culled card, my 4 of spades here, and then I just grab onto it and it slides very easily and very quickly over top of that card. So you can see that culling one indifferent card first can make culling the second card much easier. Now once I've done that, all I have to do is push the rest of the pack in over top of my 2 culled cards, and my 8 of clubs would be in the bottom. So one more time, you cull out an indifferent card. It doesn't matter how that looks at the beginning because they're not going to be paying attention to that. They select a card, 2 of spades in this case, and you're going to cull that on top of the first culled card and then spread the rest of the pack together, and you've controlled it to the bottom. So everything looks extremely fair up to this point. There's been no big maneuvers. We haven't shuffled. We haven't cut the deck in any way. What we're going to do next is we're going to spread the deck out, and remember the situation that their selection's on the bottom. We're going to take our 2 jokers, we'll put one right above their selection, and then we're going to take the other joker and we're going to put it underneath the top card. Now we're going to square up the pack, and you can remember this situation. We have their selection on the bottom with a joker, and then we have a joker right underneath this top indifferent card here. What we want to do is we want to do a shift or a pass such that we get the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom. But what this will do is it's going to put 2 cards in between. So we need to get rid of this card. We want to displace it. So this is where we're at. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to take the top half, pull it off to the left, bring the bottom to the right, and we're going to set up for what looks like a fair riffle shuffle. We'll drop a pack on the left, then we will riffle fairly but kind of blockily until we get to the top card on the left, and we'll drop a big block on the right. So this is set up for a standard kind of quick and dirty Zarrow Shuffle. Now the version of the Zarrow that we're going to do is what I call the quick and dirty one, and it's the one where you give a lot of left hand cover. We're going to bring the left hand in, cover the front of the left hand side of the deck. We're going to push the block of cards that's just underneath the cover card on the left in, and then we're going to pick up on the rest of the pack and we're going to de-interlace them. So if I exaggerate and pull forward, you can see that all of the cards are separated on the right hand pack. We're then going to push the right hand pack on top of the left hand pack except for this cover card. So if I lift the cover card midstream, you can see what's going on. All I'm doing is I'm taking the bottom and putting it on the top. And their card is selected there, and the indifferent card, or rather the joker, is right here. Okay, so this gets pushed together like this under the cover of hands, and it looks like it was a fair riffle shuffle. And now we're ready to present. So we've accomplished everything by that point, and then we can show that their card is the one card that is between the jokers. So very quickly, to recap all of that from the beginning, start with a regular deck of cards. We're going to cull out an indifferent card at the start because it will make it easier to call their selection later. They will select a card by either touching it or pulling it out and looking, and ironically we hit the 2 of spades again. And then we're going to call that card in as we push the deck together. We spread the deck. Their cards on the bottom. We're going to place the one joker second from the bottom, the other joker second from the top. We're going to very fairly bring the pack back together. Then we're going to take the bottom to the right, and we're going to riffle for a Zarrow Shuffle, where we take the right hand pack and we put it on top of the left hand pack. We give left hand cover, push in the top block, lift up to deinterlace, and then close it all together. And you want to make this look like it takes a little bit of effort to press the cards together and get them mixed. Then we're ready to present. We can take the deck, spread it out. We can show that the two jokers have zeroed in on one card, and we demonstrate that it's their selection. So that is my version of the sandwich routine, using a spread, Hofstens or spread call, and a Zarrow Shuffle as a shift.